I need to be connected to something bigger than the rat race of living in a city. To have this farm here now is a huge privilege. Especially in this part of Michigan, I feel like I'm kind of feeding off the energy of the other, farm projects going on out here. I don't know, just being able to breathe deep in the morning when I come out to the field and to notice the change of light when the season changes. When you can see it on a day, notice it that quickly, it just feels like, I don't know, back to something really elemental, really human, really primitive, that is, I don't know, kind of fleeting.
We're sort of at the height of our growing season. We're coming into all the dahlias being in bloom. It's really quiet. You hear the cicadas and the birds. But the sun is just coming up over the field. It's beautiful, and all of the work that has to be done. But it's also about stepping back and realizing what we have been able to grow. These flowers are resilient, and they're coming up through these weeds. You're always having to think ahead, though, and think, what do we want to do next year? I feel really fortunate to have this sort of dual life, and one in which I can live in the city and see people, and there's so many things to do, but also to come out here and sort of reset.
I guess it comes from a state of mind when you can come out and, be really nourished by your work. I feel like when we're giving our designs to our clients and our customers, they're receiving something from me that's kind of a manifestation of my desire as a human. So to me, it feels like there's a lot more important things going on in the world than flowers. It's a bit hard to reconcile sometimes, but I still think that growing flowers in this way that is outside of, the mainstream capitalist machine, really, trying to impact the way that this industry works, and that this industry can impact, the environment as a whole in terms of soil health and water health and human health in the way that we're touching and working with all these flowers. There's no residue, there's no pesticide residue, there's no herbicide residue. So in that small way, I do feel like we are able to change our industry a little bit for the better. Where that fits in a larger scheme of the world is something that will always be grappled with, probably.
I definitely think that the floral aesthetic is leaning more towards this sort of natural look. It's really informed by what we see in the field and what we can forage, and we like the weirder stems, the kind of wonky ones. We have access to these amazing things that are just growing naturally as well, that it makes the design that much more meaningful. I think Heidi and I both have said before, and I think feel strongly, that we wouldn't be florists if we weren't also growing flowers.
We do find a lot of inspiration with chefs who work seasonally in terms of sourcing their ingredients and the quality and combination of flavors and style. It all really draws a nice parallel, I think, to kind of the work that we're creating. There's the bulk growing that happens on the back end, and the harvesting and the cutting, and then the fine detailed work of arranging and using those skills to turn it into something else and to present it at a table. Abra is a really inspirational chef. She lets nothing go to waste. She's kind of like a gleaner's chef. So she will make sure that whatever's going on in the field, maybe it's seconds, maybe there's something that's a little slightly wilted, she's going to use that wilt and turn it into something amazing.
all wrestling with who we are and who we want to be. And there is no better place to have those conversations where we talk about what we agree about and what we disagree about more easily than over food. And to make that a beautiful act and a deliberate act and something that then you want to share with other people, that brings community over a table. And I think that the difference between doing that in an austere, sort of not enticing space is makes it harder. And I think that's what I love about what Heidi and Molly do, is that they both have a really natural way of creating this beauty in everyday life. It's these everyday luxuries that we're having. And so I think that we're looking for those things to connect over. And I think food is a really natural entrance point. I think that, you know, where you spend your time is a really natural entrance point to that. And I think that the way that we eat and the way that we think about each other is really informed by what we put into our bodies and what we share in our space. And so recognizing that luxury and wanting to share it with other people is a really powerful thing. You don't have to have a $1,500 stove to make a meal. I mean, people have been cooking as long as we've had fire. One of the ways that as people who work in this industry, we can draw people in is by trying to take the shoulds away. You know, the number of times I've been to a dinner party where people say like, oh, I don't know if I should put olive oil on this. And it's like, well, everybody has the ability to taste it and decide if you like it. And I think that that autonomy has been stripped away for a variety of reasons and by a variety of people. But to say like, I'm in control. I can taste this tomato and decide if it needs salt, or I can taste this and decide if I like it or not. And learning that you have that control and that you can bend these ingredients to your will, it sounds like such a simple act, but it's so empowering for other parts of your life too. I think farm dinners are magical to me because there's something just so wonderful about eating outside, and it feels connected to how things are grown. It feels connected to the season in that it's summertime and we don't get to eat outside for that many months in the year here in Michigan. It somehow feels like you're in a very grand space, like the highest ceilinged room. And it just feels very like big and epic, but it's again this simple act of sitting down for dinner together.